say? So gates, crowds, it's all painting a picture of something, maybe a slight West Country accent in there as well. What do you reckon that's all about? Ray in Bury St Edmunds has sent me a text saying, hello Matt, I wanted to learn to play the trumpet at school as my father had too, but after one term it was obvious I had no musical talent, so gave up. More like that please. That's Ray. Also, you know, yeah, it's pictures, taking a good photo. Can you do it? You know, when I do it, they're all right. They could be better. So every Sunday we dip into some Sunday science, because there's a little bit of science to everything. Today, the science of taking a good photo. We'll take dodgy shots from time to time, out of focus, blurred, missing the action. Let's get the picture with Suffolk-based photographer Cherry Beasley. Good morning, Cherry. Good morning.
Hello, lovely. How are you?
I'm all right. Not too bad at all. So, taking a photo. Is this going to be a straightforward thing? It should be, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I think a lot of people do think that they need a very expensive camera, for example, to take a good photograph. And there are four quite simple steps that you can follow as a guide that will take you from, say, a generic snap, that actually then transcends into a very good image. So there are four main key areas that if you follow those, you should be able to take an image that your friends and family will say, wow, that's quite a good shot.
Okay, well, tell me that in a moment. First of all, when did you know you wanted to take photos, do it professionally, become a photographer?
Oh gosh, since I was quite young. I think as a teenager, I was quite creative, very arty, just wanted to get into the world of being creative. My uncle gave me a camera and basically just told me to go and have fun with it and to experiment, and that's what I did. Throughout my life, I've just always carried a camera with me everywhere I've been, much to the annoyance of my friends as I'm snapping away, and of my family who have to wait quite often for a long period of time as I stop and say, I've got to capture this.
Do you remember the type of camera? Do you remember the kind of camera it was?
Oh, yeah, it was a Pentax, a very old film Pentax camera. So I learned how to do everything manually, because in those days, I am very old.
I'm sure you're not.
There wasn't such a thing as digital, so the only way to actually find out whether you've taken a very good image was to wait for it to be processed and developed. You know, you go to booths, hand it over, and obviously other pharmacies are available, and then you look at the images to find out maybe where you've gone wrong, or if that film was wasted. And over years, I've just experienced a lot of trial and error. And then finally was able to get a digital camera about 12 years ago. And a new world was opened up to me, because before then I'd actually been using a darkroom as well to develop. So I've learnt my skills through that way. Digital, I think, and everybody having an iPhone now means that my world is more open to so many more people, which I love to share. I love to share my world of photography.
Yeah, of course. So smartphones, as you say, I mean, digital cameras. You can just take as many as you like, can't you? It doesn't matter. You can get it wrong as often as you like, and keep trying.
However, it's a little bit exhausting, though, isn't it? When you're uploading, you've got 100 photographs just to get that one shot. I think the key element would be to try and hone your skills a little bit more, understand as to what the story is of the photograph that you're trying to take, and then look at all the elements that are around it. What is it that you're trying to take a photo of? Anything that doesn't need to be in the shot, take that out of the shot, compose properly, look at your lines, those sorts of things. And then maybe you're only going to be taking one or two shots instead of hundreds, hoping that one of them, or 50, hoping that one of those 50 is going to be the shot that actually holds someone's attention. So you can have great equipment and you can take a good photograph with any form of camera. But there are elements behind it that are quite key.
There's also some scary terminology, ISO and aperture and things like that.
Aperture and ISO, yes, there are, but once you've actually started to break it down and you understand what those elements do and why you need them, then it starts to become quite, it flows to actually understand. You get the balance right. However, with digital cameras, most nowadays, you can just use your camera on manual. Again, like I was saying, it's about getting the composition right, making sure that your lighting is right, understanding that you've got the subject. What is it you're trying to take a photograph of? First of all, that's quite paramount. And then just making sure that you've got all the elements around it. Anything that's going to shot that doesn't need to be shot, take that out. don't confuse the subject, don't confuse the photograph, and just make the things up a little bit, and then you should start taking a few more images that maybe have a little bit more impact.
Okay, so composition. So, I mean, okay, we're taking a picture of a tree. Do you want the tree bang in the middle of the picture? I mean, how do you work that out?
Okay, so as a guide, we normally use, at the starting off, we normally use the rule of thirds. So I think when it's been known that people, when there is a photograph in the middle, our eye doesn't actually want to stay in the middle of the picture. It wants to roam, it wants to go around the picture, it wants to understand a bit more about the story, the subject that's in there. So we kind of use as a guide what we call a rule of thirds, and where you take, if you look at something that you're looking to take a photograph of, and you put a grid over it in your mind's eye. You can even do that with your phone, your iPhone, you can put a grid up. And what it will do is it will give you 2 vertical lines and 2 horizontal lines. Now, where those lines intersect are called the points of interest. And if you can put your subject on one of those points, or even in one of those thirds, like on the right or the left or the top or bottom, it will give the image a little bit more impact. It will lead the viewer's eye into the story, what it is that you're trying to tell. And then the person has the ability to roam around in that image and create a little bit more of a story, use their own imagination, and understand a little bit more about what it is that you're trying to convey. It gives also an element of balance within the image and keeps somebody's attention in that picture for longer.
It's odd because you can, when you look at a picture, you can tell when a picture is well done, but even though you don't know why sometimes. You kind of, when you take your own pictures, you think, well, that's not quite right. It could be brilliant, but for some reason it's just not right. And you're beginning to put the building blocks there of why that's the case.
Yeah, if you start watching movies or even TV adverts now, and you start thinking about the rule of thirds, you'll find that the subject, the person that's speaking maybe, is on the right-hand side of the screen, and there's nothing on the left, and it's because it's keeping your eye drawn to the person on the right-hand side of the screen. But the space on their left is actually blank, and they're looking that direction, so your interest is piqued because you know that person is speaking, they're looking at something, and you want to know who they're looking at. And then you'll find that the camera pans, and then you find out what their subject is, so your attention is being held. So you're sitting in the middle of the screen, and maybe there are lots of things behind them, for example. Your eye is going to be drawn all over that shot, and it's going to be looking at all the details in the background. Whereas when you want to have your subject drawn into the viewer's eye and hold it there, then you keep them to one of those elements of the third, and you eradicate all the other kind of, I would call, superfluous areas or items that don't need to be in the shot that make somebody's eyes go elsewhere.
Listen, stay there. We'll come back to you in a few minutes, and we'll find out some more information about your own business that you have and a few more tips and tricks. Okay, so don't go anywhere. Need to catch up with the traffic and travel and play a track as well. So let's head over to Emily. Emily, how is it looking out on the roads?
So it's looking fairly quiet on the roads this morning with everything clear on the A12 and the A14. There's a little bit of stationary traffic on the A140 Norwich Road. It's around a 6-minute wait heading towards Paynes Hill. In Felixstowe, Candle Road in the roadworks area, there's a bit of build-up of traffic in both directions. Over to Ipswich, some stationary traffic on Beccles Road heading towards Felixstowe Road. You're looking at around a 12-minute wait there. Otherwise, everything is running to time on Greater Anglia, but as always, if you do see or hear of anything and it is safe to do so, let us know on 0800 141 2121.
Now, every week we do this, Emily. I play you a classic TV theme because they don't make them like they used to.
They do not.
And then we get you to rate them. Now, last week, what was it last week that you ended up voting the best out of the 4?
Top Cat.
Top Cat. Or Boss Cat.
Or Boss Cat.
Or Boss Cat, if in the UK. So, this is today's, okay, this is the first one today. Let's see if you remember this. Is it jogging any memories?
Oh yeah, immediately.
The Addams Family. The house is a museum. When people come to see them, they really are a spree. The Addams Family. So get a with your shawl on, a roost that you can crawl on. We're gonna take a call on the Addams Family.
movie, the films, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, I'm a huge fan of the, like, Christina Ricci movies that came out in the 90s and the 2000s, but I don't think I've ever seen the original sort of black and white. Sam Gamgee's dad played Gomez.
Yeah.
I've never seen that at all.
I always kind of, what were the Addams Family? Because you had the Munsters, that was like the rival show back in the 60s, the Munsters and the Addams Family.
I mean, I think the Addams Family have stood the test of time longer than the Munsters.
Oh, yeah.
They were also the best family on television. Like, they were a genuinely loving unit, and the husband and the wife genuinely loved each other, which you didn't really see in other sort of family sitcoms.
I guess a bit like The Simpsons, dysfunctional, showing the true kind of family life.
But even like Marge and Homer had their problems, but you know, the Gomez and Morticia they were just so in love, and that's what was so unique, despite being, you know, a bit weird.
Score the theme tune for me, out of 10.
It's an 8. Everyone can join in with it, can't they?
8. Okay, they're spooky and they're gooky, and they get an 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing another one in 1 hour's time.
Get more from BBC Radio Suffolk online. Like our Facebook page today. See pictures and videos about what's happening and contribute to our programmes and news stories. Get more from BBC Radio Suffolk online and like our Facebook page today.
Trying to work out what this audio relates to, something that happened on this day. Bob in Ipswich thinks he knows.
What is the one thing that's worrying you more than anything else at this particular moment? How many I'm going to get here, and how many gate crashes I'm going to get. How are you going to stop gate crashes? I've got about 30 stewards and a security car on the gate itself.
It's BBC Radio Suffolk. You think